Alright, today I'm discussing why I replaced a guitar in my collection with this RG550 Genesis in flat white. I did sell a guitar to get this. I'll tell you which one and why in a minute, but this video is to share my long-term experience since I have several colors of these. As you could tell, I'm a huge Ibanez fan, so naturally I have the Road Flare Red, which I replaced the potentiometer knobs on. I know it looks kind of orange in this lighting, but it is Road Flare Red. And of course the Desert Yellow. But I wanted to talk on why these guitars might be good for you too, and the motivations in general behind replacing a guitar in an instrument that might not be working for you. I think it's worth talking about, but first I have to say this video is not sponsored. So first, why this guitar? And I did sell my S671ALB to get this. And I'll cover first why another RG550 Genesis, and what makes this such a strong model. Why have I become such a huge fan of this model of guitar? And it's not specifically because of the thin necks, although that is a factor. You can't think Ibanez without thinking thin, flat neck. The main reason is I find this model of guitar just works. The body feels right against your picking arm and your body. The bridge is in the right place, and the bridge is also super high quality. Whether you keep it floating or you have it blocked off, the edge bridge is fantastic. The pickups are really great from my experience. Somebody keeps playing with the microphone stand. Anyway, the pickups work decently good from my experience, and the 5-way switch is very versatile. Playing an RG550 Genesis, this one specifically, I discovered that I really like the clean tones in position 4. I used to only prefer clean tones with the neck pickup, whether it was a single coil or a humbucker, but finding out that the position 4 tones are really good, it was just super inspiring. I know I've had other guitars with 5-way switches, but something about this guitar just made me want to try that. Maybe it's because the pickups aren't like super high-end boutique or whatever. I was experimenting with all options. Another good thing about the RG550 Genesis, it's made in Japan. You get the made in Japan quality. I know it's not a prestige guitar technically, but it feels super, super close to those prestiges. And I'm not saying Ibanez guitars made in other countries are necessarily bad. If you have one that works for you, that's great. And I'll talk more about comparing the S671 to the S770 later in the video. Those are two Indonesian-made Ibanezes that I have or had. But according to my hands, my playing style, my experiences so far, these Japanese-made Ibanezes have been pretty good overall. And in fact, the RG550 Genesis has been the most reliable Japanese-made Ibanez for me so far. Maybe I'm just unlucky, but some of my prestiges have had problems. And sure, maybe some other guitars have specs that would suit me better, like having a fixed bridge instead of a floating one, or stainless steel frets. I do prefer those. Heck, or even higher end pickups. If I was speccing my own out, I would have those things. Fixed bridge, maybe hip shot, some stainless steel frets, maybe some DiMarzios. Lately I've been thinking about what if I had the Utopia pickups, but they had the black bobbins instead of all that fancy metal around them. Is that sacrilege? But something about this guitar makes it feel like it's punching above its price point. A lot of things about this guitar. It's a combination of everything I talked about plus the level of build quality. This guitar is built really well, yet is at a price point where it's not super unobtainable. It's not cheap, but it's not as soul-crushingly expensive as a J Custom, for example. So you could take it out and gig it and get some playing wear on it, ding it up, and it's not going to feel like the end of the world. Or you could play it in your home recording studio and ding it up, and it's not going to feel like the end of the world. You can get into the whole conversation about what you need in a guitar for recording or playing live, whatever. And to oversimplify it, I think as long as the guitar is stable enough and has the right pickup configuration you need, I think that's what matters. Like if you're trying to play super distorted doom death metal, maybe a single coil isn't going to work for you. That's what I mean by pickup configuration. Of course, you can mod the guitar too. You can change the pickups out. The guitar being at this price point and not at the price point of the higher costing prestiges means you're going to have some budget left over for that. But moving on to a feature that comes up whenever you talk about the RG550 Genesis is the lack of the all-access neck joint. If you're watching this video, you probably know what that is, but just to remind you, to show you again, you can see the neck heel on this S Prestige here has the all-access neck joint. So when you're playing up at the high frets, you don't have any of the square block tilt joint heel getting in your way. It contours to your hand so you can reach up here with no effort. And then you can see on the 550 Genesis, you can see it does have that tilt joint, I think they call it. And so when you're playing up here, it is something you have to kind of plan out. If you're playing thumb behind the neck style, you can see it's not really getting in your way too much, but you know, you're standing up, you're playing it like this, you've got your thumb higher up, you're gonna run into the square blockiness right here. And this isn't a novel argument of mine, this is the common criticism with these guitars in this day and age. Would-be buyers are driven away by the fact that this doesn't have an all-access neck joint. And personally, I think they should put that on this guitar. I think it would be really great for the consumer. Super Shredder RG at this price point made in Japan with the all-access neck joint, that'd be fantastic. But these days, I have to say that I find myself going up to the 24th fret less often. And that's especially because I'm playing in standard tuning these days more. Whereas I used to play in drop C all the time on my 6-string guitars, now I'm playing in standard tuning 50-50. That being said, I'll stand by my position of if your songs, the music you're playing calls for having 24 frets, I think it is necessary. Bending up from the 22nd fret to hit that higher note isn't always feasible, especially if you're doing like tapping stuff or fast scale runs. I'm not saying I'm some kind of guitar virtuoso who shreds up and down the neck effortlessly. I do try to play a little fast sometimes. And I'm also not saying I hate 22 fretted guitars. I have several. Sometimes you need the classics. But back to the point of the all-access neck joint, it isn't super critical for me personally these days, for my uses. Maybe it is for you, and that's totally fair. These are tools to make music. You've got to get the tool that works for you. Eventually, I'm going to put one of my RG550s into drop D. This is keeping with the whole, each one is in a different tuning. My Road Flare red one is in drop C. My Desert Yellow one is in standard. And now the white one is currently in standard. So between those two, one is going to go into drop D. And the reason why I want to do drop D is to just carry over the chord shapes that I've been using from drop C into the standard tuning era. For now, I'm just going to play through the lifespan of the strings, and then I'll decide which one. So about the guitar, I sold the S671ALB. It's a beautiful guitar for sure, that green chameleon, and it does have some of the features I do like. The fixed bridge, the 24 frets, the all-access neck joint, and I do like the Fishman Fluence Moderns too. They're not my absolute favorite. I used to like them more than I do now, but I don't hate them. They get the job done when you need them. The combination of the neck profile and the pickups, and having to set it up a bunch, it just wasn't doing it for me. And I know the S671 and the S770 have the Wizard 3, but it must be the variation of whoever was sanding the necks those days for those guitars. I think they did a bit of a better job on the S770. So all these factors, the S770 having the Tone Zone and Air Norton 2, which have been growing on me over the years, that guitar is just getting much more playtime. I mentioned this in my re-review of the S770, but the difference between these two guitars is the 671, whenever I'd pick it up to play it, I would end up putting it down. But with the S770, I would keep playing it. And then the final factor was the S6621AH came out, this Prestige S. This had much more of what I was looking for, the fixed bridge, the made in Japan quality. The neck profile was much more of what I preferred. So when the RG550 here, this Genesis in white came out, at first I wasn't going to get one, and I even said so in the video talking about the color, the new colors, this and the gray. But the more I thought about it, these factors came to mind, you know, the neck profile, the quality, the reliability. And I do notice the neck profile on these is a little bit different than the Prestiges. They're a bit more of a thin C. The Prestiges have just slightly a little bit more shoulder. Although maybe I've just gone crazy thinking about these and talking about these for so long. I know on the Ibanez website it has measurements on it. It'll say the measurements are this and that they're the same and all that, but depending on who's making the guitar, who is sanding down the necks, maybe they're made in different factories or different part of the factory, all of these contribute. And if you've measured these necks, they're oftentimes a little different than what's specified online, which isn't a bad thing. You know, if a guitar is a good playing guitar, it is what it is. There's always been variation in guitar specifications versus reality. This has been for every brand ever. But back to the guitar, these factors were becoming more and more critical. It's important for a guitar to have something about it that makes you want to keep playing it, whether it's the looks, the feel, its utility to you. Most of us have day jobs and other responsibilities. I think for most guitarists out there, music isn't our primary career. At the end of the day, when you have time to play, you're exhausted, you've taken care of all your other obligations and responsibilities. It's going to help you achieve your musical goals if you have an instrument that doesn't fight you. It's important that you have something that you enjoy playing. And this is the number one reason why I replaced a guitar with an RG550 Genesis. But what do you think? Does this guitar check your boxes? Does that reason resonate with you? Is there a different model of guitar you have multiple of? Be sure to comment down below. This is YouTube, so I have to say the YouTube things. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, print out every frame and mail it. If you're looking for something cool to listen to, I'm on all major streaming services, Heisey Productions. And as always, peace.